I'm gonna be straight up with this one, guys. We are nervous for Islam Makhachev. Like when I say we, I mean me and my friend Khabib. We talk sometimes off camera. Like people don't know me and Khabib chop it up in Dagestan sometimes. Like, and we actually sit up at night together. Okay, wait. That's not a bit. Oh no, we sit up at night, together, and we ponder about this upcoming fight with Islam Makhachev, guys. And I'm being serious, guys. If you're an Islam fan, and I gotta be honest with you, and you're looking at Ian Garry as a walk in the park, I'm afraid you're delusional. And I actually hate seeing it, guys, because I'm like, say shit goes left and Islam loses, and then all these Islam fans prior were saying this is gonna be easy, gonna take him down. Imagine Islam lose. Like I can't with that. I don't want to see all like us sound all cocky and stuff, and then it go left. Man, I've been having a tough year with my favorite fighters. I feel like, guys, and most people know Islam is one of my favorites. Of course, we know what happened with Izzy, with Usman, with Hamza Chimaev, even Ilia Topuria, guys. It's one of my favorites. Islam Makhachev, you can make this year a bit worthwhile to me. It's been tough, man. It's been tough. And what's scary about this is that I dropped a video earlier, like when this fight was first announced, and I was saying I was worried for Islam. In the video, I was highlighting a lot of things that had to do with Ian Garry and like just the different obstacle it is for someone like Islam Makhachev, who's fought at 170. But looking back at the guy he fought on, JDM's great, by the way. Like JDM's not a bad fighter, but it's just one of those things that like, damn, like his win is not even aging that well. Carlos Prates goes in there and nearly kills him. Like, you watch Carlos Prates nearly kill Jack Della Maddalena. Honestly, that was one of the worst beatings I've seen. Like, I'm actually really surprised. I thought JDM was going to go in there and win, and Carlos Prates, like, didn't just beat him. He beat the hell out of him. Like, he beat him up kind of badly. He beat him up worse than Islam did. Like, Islam took him down and controlled him and showed you his superior. Islam did do good on the feet as well. Great striking. And before the Islam JDM fight, you guys saw me and Bedtime go at it a bit. I was telling Bedtime, you're a casual if you think that JDM's going to outstrike Islam. Like, I was like, I couldn't believe there were human beings alive thinking my boy Islam was going to get outstruck by JDM when Islam has a takedown threat and Islam's actually just a really talented striker. But this is the one fight in Islam's entire career I've said that he's not going to have the striking advantage, And that includes with the takedown threat. I've never said that. Dustin Poirier, Volkanovski, JDM, I've always said all those times Islam was going to have this takedown, a striking advantage. Look it up. Do your research. Watch back anytime I predicted those ones. This is the only one I know Islam's not going to have the striking advantage. And I could be wrong, but usually when it comes to Islam and striking advantages, I've been 100%. This could be the first time Islam outstrikes Ian. But the obstacle of Ian's length, guys, and his size and how well he uses it. It's just, that's the scariest thing for me now. Guys, there's people like Randy Brown who actually fight with their length, but they don't use their length necessarily the smartest ways. Like, Randy Brown's there for low kicks. He's there to eat some low kicks because he doesn't use his length to the best of the extent. Ian Garry does. Ian Garry moves a lot. He uses his length just as I'm not gonna say just as good as Michael Venom Page, because we saw what happened when MVP and Ian Garry fought, and I did say that MVP was gonna have the clear striking advantage. That is what happened in that fight. Ian Garry needed to grapple to win, but I think Ian Garry, like, I've never seen Ian Garry struggle with an opponent that's not around his size in the striking at all. Even Prates, I was so evident that he was going to go in there and kind of school Prates on the feet. That's what happened until the last 25 minutes, And why did Prates succeed? And why do people succeed on Ian Garry? Pressure and combos and like elongated strikes. That's something I don't think Islam has. I don't really see Islam like chain together combos and are absurd with the pressure. I don't see him do it much. And I think he's going to need to do it. But let's get into Khabib's take on this, because you guys hear my take. Khabib talks about this, and what worries me about this is that Khabib sounds a lot like me when I was, when I first started talking about this fight. And like, he's very concerned, as am I. This is of course in Russian, but there's going to be subtitles on the bottom. You guys can read them as you wish. And let's click play.
Много бегает, вот сдалека, с дистанции бьет. Такого высокого соперника у нас не было. 193 сантиметра.
Высокий, да.
Да, более 190 рост. Руки длинные, ноги длинные, выбрасывает. Опять-таки, надо будет за ним бегать, собирать его. Надо будет хватать, собирать, валить.
What he says right there, the subtitles, he says, we're going to have to chase him, close him, and grab him. And I knew that. And I was saying that in like the first time I was talking about this fight. I'm like, Islam has to do something he never done before, which is pressure and like chase. And And I want to say, I know a lot of, oh, he's going to just take, okay, that's no problem. Islam's going to chase him and just take him down. Guys, that's so much easier said than done. I don't think people understand, like, how hard it is to really track down long-ranging people, guys. Like, oh my good. And then Ian Garry, the way he moves, and it's just not in Islam's fight style to do that. Guys, when I first joined my boxing gym, like, if you're shorter than me, bro, I will like jab you and I'll just, it's hard to catch me. Even when I post my shit on Twitter, oh my God, fight someone your height, bro. You're only fighting people who are 5'11", 5'10", bro. Fight some people with 6'4". Guys, there's no such thing as height classes in MMA. And this is a perfect example of it. And it's really hard to catch someone long. Like if you're long and you know how to use your range and you move your feet well, it's hard to track you down. There are tall people, guys, who don't move well. And they end up in scraps despite being long-range opponents. Exhibit A, people like Dan Hooker. Like, you could bait them into scraps because they might be longer and rangier, which is someone Islam has fought before, but they might be longer and rangier than most of their opposition, but they can get baited into just standing in front of you or get more complacent and just be more willing to brawl. Ian Garry never really falls for that, like, oh, what? Or we're going to just stand and trade. Ian Garry doesn't necessarily fall for that often. So if people are banking on Ian Garry for the first time in his career, like kind of staying his base and just standing in front of Islam, like, you know, you don't got to chase me, I'll just come to you. I don't think that makes logical sense. So Khabib is 100% right. Like, we're going to have to chase him. We're going to have to close him down. We're going to have to grab him, you know, which it's possible. You know, stylistically, this is going to sound very evil to say. Oh my God, this is going to sound crazy, but stylistically, I actually think Bilal Muhammad was a bit trickier than Islam. Oh, I'm going to get cooked in the comments, you know, but I got to be truthful. No, let me explain what I mean. Not in the grappling. Like, stylistically, Islam's a way better wrestler and grappler than Bilal. When I say stylistically, I feel like Bilal Muhammad, more so than Islam, has a tendency of pressuring and chaining together combos. Now, Islam, from what I've seen, and I've watched a lot of his footage, and I still haven't done my 100+ hours of footage and on this fight, and I'm kind of scared to do it. I'm not going to lie. I'm really scared to do it. But from what I know of Islam, because I do watch his fights quite frequently, he's more of a counter striker than anything. And if you watch Islam, you know what I mean. You'll lead first. Islam will get out the way and he would do a check hook. I do the same thing, brother. I take a lot from Islam, actually. He leans back and throws a check hook, and then if he catches you with it, he'll maybe chain together another one. And it works. It worked great against Volkanovski, who's 5'2". Worked great against 5'9" Dustin Poirier. You know, it works great against people around his size or shorter. I have a really hard time seeing him, first of all, succeed with countering Ian Garry, because Ian Garry's not going to take a lot of risk. Same with Islam. Now, if you hear people talk about Islam striking, and anyone could back me, if you remember the Volkanovski lead up, Volk was saying things along the lines of he's very safe and he doesn't take much risk, which is very true in Islam striking style, because he's kind of waiting for you to make a mistake and he'll capitalize on it and chain together a combo. And after he counters you and chains together a combo, he might even shoot a takedown. And that works because people like Dustin Poirier are going to take those risks. Volkanovski actually took more risks than he usually does fighting against Islam Makhachev. Why? Because he had to. He knew he had to go in there and go in the fray because Islam's a longer guy. So typically, Islam waits for others to make a mistake. The thing about Ian Garry I've noticed from what I remember from watching of his fights is he's not necessarily going to actually take a risk. What's he going to do? He's going to stomp on you with some oblique kicks, some kicks up the middle, and then he'll wait for you to make a mistake. And when you make a mistake, he's going to get out the way and he's going to chain together multiple combos. So that's what's difficult about this fight, is that Islam can't rely on how he always fights for majority of his career. Because if he does, he'll lose. And I'll say it right now, he will lose. If he doesn't make any changes to his fight style, I don't think there's a world he beats Ian Garry. Sorry. And even Khabib says it here. And you guys keep like, oh, well, I don't believe you, Ken. You don't got to believe me. Listen to Khabib. And if you know how much I love Islam and how much I've been watching my favorite fighters just, man, struggle. I need Islam to win. I kind of need it. I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, I'm done making videos. But guys, all my favorite fighters, man. Oh, it's like I need this win. I think for my mental, because like it's just been hard for me. Hamzat Izzy Usman, guys. Islam will not fall victim to this, hopefully. But I'm telling you right now, Khabib's right. Islam's got to chase him. And is chasing Ian Garry going to get you met with some counters? Oh my God, yes. Of course. Does Ian Garry hit wicked hard? Not really. You know, is it possible to get Ian Garry against the fence? Of course. I seen Bilal shoot some takedowns, not much because it was kind of hard for him to close the distance. But when he did, and he chained together those combos into a takedown, he would give him against the fence. He just wouldn't succeed because Ian Gary's okay defending against the fence if it's a lazy takedown. You know, but I just want you guys to understand that stylistically, this is Islam's hardest fight on paper so far in his career. So Khabib says it well here. We'll continue to play this. It's only a 1 minute clip of him saying this, but essentially he's saying he's very tall. He's 190 centimeters, which is 6'3", which is taller than anyone's Islam's ever won against. And he's pretty much saying he uses his range well.
Просто руки длинные, ноги длинные, выбрасывает. Ну, опять-таки, надо будет за ним бегать, собирать его. Надо будет хватать, собирать, валить. Тяжелый бой будет. И скоро 35.
Он just первый уже.
I don't know why he brought up Islam is almost 35, which I think it's something maybe we should look at because Ian Garry is young, but I hate that. I don't need a reminder, bro. Like, how is Islam 35? Hold on, that didn't make any sense. I don't think it's, I mean, I can't say I don't think it's true because of course it's true. Khabib saying it, but like that, I feel like time flew a bit, eh? I don't know. I feel like I always remember him being 32 in my head and just staying that age. Like, when did you turn 35? This guy's 11 years older than me, bro. You unk for real, gang. What's up, boy?
Скоро 35.
Он just первого уже года, да, получается?
91 октября, скоро 35 будет. Все вместе, стилистический возраст, это все, я считаю, что будет тяжелый бой. Ну, нелегкий бой. Ну, я всегда их готовлю к тяжелому бою. И Умара, и Усмана, и Ислама. Я им всегда говорю, на вас, ребята, настраиваются по-другому. На вас, ребята, настраиваются вообще по-другому. Это всегда так бывает. Если они готовились бы на условно там на Пратеса или Моралеса, они бы готовились по-другому.
That's a very good point by Khabib. This is Khabib putting his coaching hat on, by the way. He says that, like, when people are preparing to fight Islam Makhachev, they're preparing 100% different. Not when you're, I'm about to fight Nico Price, I'm about to fight Morales. No, if you're fighting Protest, you're training completely different. And I'm not saying you're giving less effort, but I do think people understand that, like, Islam is, like, I'm not going to say the GOAT because everyone's going to have a discussion for that. But Islam's one of those fighters that if you get the blessing or the opportunity to fight him, you're going to train like your life is like literally on the line. And Ian Garry and his stupid attitude, I'm saying stupid, but actually I like his attitude. He's a confident, he's what you want in a fighter. If you like Ian Garry, you love that confidence from him. It's like, I know Ian's taking this fight like it's a do or die situation, as he should. So Khabib's really putting his coaching hat on, talking about like, it's different for when you train with these fighters, when these fighters are prepping for you, because they're putting their whole life on the line.
Если они готовились бы на условно там на Пратеса или Моралеса, они бы готовились по-другому. Там, а здесь уже у них энергетика, все. Если они проявят себя против вас, они становятся сразу автоматически звездами. Так что...
Well, that's all Khabib had to say for this whole ordeal. And I feel like he covered every basis pretty well. He mentioned how, like, he's just taller, he's longer, he's a difficult fight for Islam. And honestly, Khabib and the team weren't really saying this until, like, I feel like one of his recent performances with Protez probably, and just like when the fight actually came into fruition. I think even me too, like, I didn't realize like how tough stylistically this fight could be until like it became a reality. Like, you know, until it became a reality. Like, even people like Sean Brady, who I said would be his toughest fight on paper, like maybe from a stylistic standpoint, but there's a lot of familiarity there for Islam. Okay, this guy's a good grappler, but I think I'm better, you know? Or this guy's around, he's 5'10" like me, but I'm not giving up, you know? So even though that stylistically might be like, oh, someone can match his wrestling or match his... It doesn't matter as much, I feel like, because there's some familiarity with that. Like, at least he's someone against someone his height. Because even Charles Oliveira, that's a scary grappler. Of course, he's probably not as good as an offensive wrestler as Sean Brady, but grappling-wise, Islam has been in there with 5'10" fighters who can grapple. Armin Sarukian. You know what I'm saying? Like, Armin, he's been in there with those people, you know? Whereas that, like, Ian Garry's just a whole different thing, something so new. And I know his main training partner, Zion Nukov, who's a great kickboxer at 5'10", you know? Like, it's different, man. It's different, guys. Like, even, guys, for people who are 6'4", bro, join a kickboxing gym, join a boxing gym, go against someone you're, like, the same experience as you, if you know how to fight somewhat, and both of you guys know how to fight somewhat. If you're the same skill as anyone, but you're just taller, you're going to have a field day with him. Or like it's crazy. Even if someone has years of experience, I went against people in my gym with years of experience, amateur fights. They're just not tall enough to like land on me. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Height plays a bigger factor than I feel like most people actually realize. And you're not gonna know it until you either train, been in a fight, or like went against someone who might be your height or might be your skill, but they're just significantly taller than you with the reach. Now, as far as striking goes, I think skill for skill, Ian Garry is objectively better, and he has a height advantage. But that's why this is MMA. You know, that's why this MMA and the whole wrestling aspect makes a difference. But I feel like the difference in that is the closing of distance. And Islam Makhachev doing something very foreign to him, which is going in there and trying to pursue him and wrestle him. That's what he has to do. He's got to go in there and try to just be different. Maybe tank some shots, unfortunately. And you're going to have to tank some shots. Guys, if you guys actually look at Ian Garry's striking, bro. It's like he could fight. He could explode into a spurt like really well too. Like look how he slips in case something comes. Prates like half-ass commits to that anyways. Then he gets it straight down the pipe. Then he lands an uppercut. Oh, like look at that. He steps into it. Boom. And then he even chains together a 1-1-2 on while the guys are treating. He's quick. He's reactive. He's good. He's a good striker. Like, and I knew this. This is why I was so confident when Ian Garry was booked to fight Prates. I was like, there's no chance. Prates going against someone his height who can strike this time. Oh, Shibai. You know, he flows really nicely, you know, and if he gets a rhythm going, and this is not him all the time. This is like a spurt for him. He doesn't fight like this all the time. You can see at the start of this clip, where was he? Where was he? Back against the fence. Why? Because he's doing a lot of movement. He's making Carlos Prates chase him down. Prates is finally like, all right, let me try to get him down. Oh, finally, he's against the fence. Maybe I could have something. I can load on him. No, slip. Ooh, boom, 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 uppercut, boom. 1-1-2. Like, that's the tricky part about Ian Garry. He plays a cat and mouse game. He makes you follow him and chase him. Do you know how annoying that is, just chasing somebody at his size and length, and all of a sudden you think, oh, finally I have them in the corner. No, you don't, because now you have me in the corner, and I'm going to get out the corner by landing some combos with you and just making you look insignificant on the feet. You know, so he's quick. He hits pretty hard, I believe. Like, he has some finishes. Yeah, he's not like a one-punch power, but he has, like, precision power. More like Adesanya-esque power. Like, if he hits you clean and you didn't block or see it coming, it's gonna happen. And this is his hands strictly. This clip right here is his hands. What he does a really good job about is his head kicks. Not just head kicks, guys. His obliques. He's the one who believes that he's the reason that Shavkat Rakhmonov is no longer around. And you can see by the way he throws these obliques. Look at a head kick. Look at an oblique into a head kick. Oh man, that's what makes him so dangerous too. Look how he mixes up those weapons, guys. And what? Shavkat's like 6'1", 6'2". Fires a head kick. After that, steps into an oblique. Oh, he's just frustrating to fight. And like, this is against someone who's over 6 feet. Like, bro, the shorter you are, the easier and more comforting it could be to throw strikes like this. You know, like, it's so satisfying when you have a significant height advantage over somebody you're fighting with. Like, you guys don't even know how reassuring that shit is. Like, oh, I'm not gonna get touched in the head. I gotta just worry about my body, or that's how Ian Garry feels, I'm assuming, when he goes against people who are nowhere near his frame. And you guys gotta remember, Islam, I think, is a strong 170. He's not big for 170. He's not like a Sean Brady at 170. He's about a JDM. Him and JDM are about the same weight, actually. Just that he was stronger than JDM. But JDM's a mid-size. Like, JDM is about a 189 on Fight Night type of dude. I believe Islam was a same thing, 188, 189, 187, somewhere around there. But like very high 180s, maybe even very low 190s. But there's 170ers like Usman, like Sean Brady, Morales, who's like 205. Like, he'll be like 215 on Fight Night sometimes. Who knows? There's some big people at the weight class. Those 200-pound ones like Morales and Sean Brady. Those are big dudes. Islam's not there, and same with Ian Garry. Ian Garry's actually not big at all. Ian Garry fights around, I believe, 180. He's small. He's very small for that weight class. So he's not really cutting weight, which is why he moves well. You never really see him tired. I will say he got tired on short notice against Carlos Prates. That was the first time I ever seen him tired. But usually people like that, like even Kobe Covington, used to come in at like around 180 on Fight Night. Those people typically have better gas tanks because they risk not cutting a lot of weight to help their movement, help their gas, and they're not weight bullies. They're like, they should probably be in the weight class under, honestly, but they don't want to spend a lot of time cutting weight, which I respect. But people like Ian Garry, what makes them tricky is not just the speed of their hands like we showed the last video, it's their ability to use their long range weapons at their disposal to keep their distance, to keep the person just, oh my god, the way he torqued the ACL. That, I'll be real, that is an injury right there. That definitely caused something, guys. Oh my god. Oh, like, just fully, damn near fully inverts to that angle. Oh, that definitely is one of the reasons. Oh my goodness. I think it was a lingering issue, but I know Ian Garry made that so much worse. Just frustrating to deal with. People like Jones did this really good, guys. He was someone who's lanky and he used his length amazingly. So it's not going to be easy because not only does Islam have to be abnormally aggressive, like more so than he ever has been, he has to be walking through these. He has to walk through them. You guys, go watch the Bilal fight. See how much fucking obliques and stomps Bilal had to walk through. You know, you're going to have to walk through them. You're not going to, like, it's not going to be, oh, Ian Garry's going to bend. Like, you're going to have to walk through them. He's not going to abandon this game plan only just to give Islam the lucky chance. He's probably going to use it more than he ever has because he knows this is the biggest fight of his career and this is arguably one of his best weapons. He's going to be using his kicks to dictate the range, dictate the pace. And then when he is finally backed into a corner and Islam's like, oh, finally it's time, he's going to probably chain together a punch combo or something. That's what Ian Garry does so well. And that's why he's still damn near great. The reason people like Shavkat were able to beat him is I feel like Shavkat was very aggressive the whole time. And Shavkat brings chaos. He brings a fight. Like I said, there's certain people that stylistically are just a harder fight for Ian Garry. I don't think stylistically necessarily Islam's the hardest fight. He's just the hardest stylistic grappler that he can go against. And if Islam gets a hold of him, he'll take him down, absolutely. He'll control him, absolutely. Maybe submit him. I don't know. Maybe not submit him. I don't know. Because I feel like Ian Garry and JDM are both like, they might not be the best grapplers, but their BJJ understanding is pretty solid. So I don't know about submitting Ian Garry, but definitely like he'll take him down and control his pipsqueak ass. He's 180 pounds. If he gets a hold of this guy, it's a problem. It's just that the thing with me is like, Islam walking through the shots and taking the risk that it has to be able to hold them. And if he does have to, like, it's not just like taking a risk, taking shots just to close the distance and just grab a hold of his arm. You got to shoot an actual takedown on Ian Garry. Because if it's like that Bilal shit where like you half-ass just to try to grab him and like control him, that's just not, he's going to defend it well, you know. We've seen Islam get his takedown stuff. We saw the Volk and the Dustin fight, like when it gets harder for Islam, typically later in the rounds, you know. So the hard part for Ian maybe is the early rounds, because later it does seem like it's easier to stuff some of Islam's more predictable takedowns, I suppose. But it's just the early onslaught that I'm concerned about, you know, for him. And this is Ian Garry talking about the situation. Now, he points at a couple things here. One thing he's pointing at is what Khabib was talking about, which is a little bit nerve-wracking to me again, because I hate that Ian Garry knows what he has to do, you know? Like, I hate that Ian Garry understands that how different he is than other opponents Islam has went against. Because from a casual standpoint, people can be like, this is not the only good striker Islam went against. We went against Volk and went against Dustin. But real people who understand the sport understand their striking is good objectively, but it's just not the same as striking with a 6'3" Ian Garry. But this is Ian Garry's take on like the whole fight in general.
I mean, you know, dude, I don't think Islam has a lot of weaknesses.
True.
He's never fought someone as long and tall as me. He's not fought someone as fast as me. He's not fought someone who has the distance management, the boxing capabilities, the head movement that I did.
Yeah, that's the scariest part for me. Like, okay, sure, everything he's saying, a head movement, yeah, sure, but when he says distance management, I hate that because that's so true. His understanding of distance management is so good, and I kind of hate it. I like Ian Garry, don't get me wrong, but I hate it for Islam. You know, I hate that for Islam. It's annoying, bro.
He's not fought someone as fast as me. He's not fought someone who has the distance management, the boxing capabilities, the head movement that I did, but also the takedown defense. He might get me done.
Okay, that part was just dumb as hell. Talking about takedown defense, nigga. Like, relax. You again out scrambled by MVP in some of these exchanges. Of course, these are different opponents, different open, but like, he's been against people like Volk who have way better takedown defense than you. But of course, it's easier to have the opportunity to shoot on Volk. But stop acting like your takedown defense is badass. When I heard that, I was like, okay, he understands shit, and then like he's delusional about some things, but you should be delusional as a fighter. I hope you think you have great takedown defense. It's not bad. Like you defended Bilal's takedowns, but Bilal's not the best wrestler, you know, unless your name's Leon Edwards. Shout out Bilal though. I'm not trying to, but Bilal's wrestling's a lot different than Islam Makhachev's. I think after he did what Bilal couldn't do against JDM in the wrestling exchanges, people started to understand what I meant when I was saying that prior to the fight. But yeah, he's a bit delusional when it comes to his takedown defense.
The takedown defense, he might get me done. I hope he does. Because I want to prove to the world that he can't submit me. I want to prove to the world that I can get back up.
You don't want that to happen. You won't get back up. You won't. Unless he has some Yusri Belguri type of shit. Remember Belguri versus Azamat? That shit was hard. But like, I don't think he's gonna get up. I think he could defend chokes, yes, but about getting up and stuff, I don't know.
I want to prove to the world that I can beat him in his own world. I don't care how long he's
I can't wait. Please go on with this game. I'm going to beat him in his own. Shut your mouth, eh? You ain't beating nobody in their own world, especially not Islam. I want to prove I can beat him in his own world. Shut your mouth needs to be shut sometimes. Because, like, I hear when he's saying something, I'm like, yeah, man, and he's like, yeah, I want to prove you can beat him in his own world. He would nearly kill you in that world. So cut it out. Stick to what you know. But if you don't, brother, be my guest, please. Let's go. Let's wrestle. Let's stall it there.
beat him in his own world.
Oh.
I don't care how long he's trained in that area. I don't care if he's an internationally recognized master of Sambo or not. I'm going to bounce him on his skull. I'm going to take his title. I'm going to take his throne. And I'm going to finish that consecutive win streak. And I'll always be the guy that stopped history from happening.
Okay, like it sounds great. Are you gonna do it though? Like all that, it sounds good. Like I don't listen to that. I'm like, okay, like bro, like what? Like okay, that does sound pretty convincing in a way, but it's like, are you gonna do it? I don't know, man. Listen, I like it. He's a confident dude, and I think confidence takes you a long way. It seems like he's confident in the smart way though. Like he's not dismissing him. He's saying I don't think he has a lot of weaknesses, but he's also delusional in a way, but. Listen, it's one of those things I can look at and I can respect now. A big thing a lot of people wanted me to react to and watch is like this situation. It was with the guy's name is, what's his name? Alex Pergande, I believe. And this clip, I think the clip was from like 3-4 years ago. It's not a recent clip, but it's a clip of Ian Garry sparring this dude. And it's the wrestling exchanges and specifically how Ian Garry is kind of getting done up in the wrestling. So I'll play that video for you guys right now. Just easy double leg. Gets back to his feet, but it's against Belgur. It's against this dude, you know.
High head.
Find the hands. Oh no. Yeah. Look at this. Standing guillotine, sitting head and arm attempt. Got to the back. This obviously, I'll be real. This is not like, bro. If this dude's doing it to you, and I'm not. This guy's a great fighter, by the way. He's ranked in the PFL. I see him a lot on my shorts and my YouTube sometimes. Yeah, it's one of those things that if he's able to do this to you, Islam's gonna do a lot worse. Trust me. And of course, that's a thing. But like, you know, of course, like, listen, it's bad. He's like Ian Garry's not even doing anything necessarily bad here, but it's showing that he's able to get, like, he's not a strong big guy. Like he's lanky, you know. Like even that little scramble right there was interesting. Like he did it right. Like it looked like he pummeled. Let's see. Yeah, pummeled the head a bit. Doesn't really get the hands between the legs there. Tries to get to a hip, but settles for full guard. You know. Here he's turning out of it pretty well. Got his back taken partially though. Yeah, and then this, I don't know. It's like, is he human? Yes, he could get taken down. You know. It's interesting. He does a good job immediately getting to his hip there. Yeah, it's an old clip, and I do think it's important, of course, for a fight like this to like look at, but you can't really take too much for that, guys. Like, of course, we've seen Ian Garry look worse in the grappling exchanges, in my opinion, in fights, like with MVP. Like, you guys should look at that. Like, I think a lot of people are taking a bit too much from this spar specifically, especially because it's sparring. Like, you're supposed to be put into positions like this. Like, it's not very abnormal. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I'll say it like this, guys. Like, I believe, and I feel like most people with common sense believe this is not a walk in the park for Islam. And I don't think Islam could necessarily make this look as easy as a JDM fight, because in the JDM fight, I was sure that JDM was going to like lose on the feet and in the grappling. This one, I'm sure Ian Garry's going to lose in the grappling, not the feet. And I do think Ian Garry's going to get taken down. It's like, is he going to get submitted? I have a harder time seeing that. But he has long limbs, though. He has long limbs, you know. I know Islam's not the type to go for leg locks or arm bars, but long limbs, you know, he can maybe find a head and arm. He could find maybe a dart. I know he loves the darts. He could definitely find that too. He has a long ass neck. You know, it's not Volkanovski. It's a good fight, but it's a fight of styles, and it's a fight where wherever the fight is for majority of the fight, that's probably who's going to be the winner. If the fight's majority standing, unfortunately, I think Ian Garry could actually scrape his way into a decision win. If it's like major, like a majority of the fight is on the ground, of course it's going to be Islam Makhachev. I don't know why Ian Garry's so confident in his grappling. Like, I know his BJJ is not bad, but him trying to act like, yeah, I hope it goes in his world because I'm going to get up. No, you're not. You will lay on your back the whole time or get submitted. So cut it out, gang. You know, cut it out. I was young, dummy, and dumb. What the fuss about? Just bugging out. When mom said beat the streetlights home, I'd bust them out. Like, nah, but listen, I'm excited for the fight from a fan's perspective. I know it's gonna be a good one. You know, win or lose. I am interested to see how Islam Makhachev preps for this. His team's great at getting him prepared for opponents accordingly, and this is gonna show a lot about Islam and his skill, as well as his coaching staff and how good they are at prepping him accordingly, because so far they've done so damn good. You know, this is the reason, and this is like the win away off of GOAT status for me. You know, I don't care if Ian Garry has lost before in the UFC. This is like one of those wins that, like, he's about to be 35. He's already a double champ. If you're a double champ and defend both belts, you're going to be in the same category as people like Daniel Cormier and people like Henry Cejudo, you know, but your wins and defenses are going to be even more applauded. You know, I know DC defended against Stipe, but he beat Derek Lewis to get the title. Or, you know, I'm pretty sure, yeah, or whatever. So, or defended against Derek Lewis, but beat Stipe to get the title. Yeah, so, yeah, the Derek Lewis defense is not going to be as good as the Ian Garry defense. So, and then Cejudo was fighting, like, people through injuries and shit. It was a little bit, you know, iffy. So, he will be the best double champ who defended both titles. And in my opinion, that's enough to make you the GOAT. So, this is definitely a fight for the GOAT status. And I feel like if Ian Garry loses to Islam, it solidifies Islam as the undisputed GOAT, in my opinion. No one has done that, and he has the longest win streak in the UFC history as well. Like, come on, bro. At that point, there's no denying him. But let me know your thoughts down below, guys. I'm curious if the Islam fans are as nervous as me. And if you're not, that's a bit weird to me. I think you're being a bit, like, dismissive and delusional if you think Islam is, like, going to have his way on the feet and on the ground. But it comes down to Islam taking risk, and I believe he has it in him to do it. And I believe Ian Garry is going to be in for a long night if he's not ready, you know. But I predict a hard but a good fight. Let me know your thoughts down below. Here's just it from me. God bless. 2, 3.